or whatever you're watching on in TV, and then you fly to New York, and then you go to the building, you go up the elevator, and then next thing you know, you're on the set. It's a trippy thing. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
No, I love it. Kevin.
It was weird, man.
Kevin, we're getting to love you and your
I swear
trips.
I'm not high right now.
He's literally the sober guy in the band.
And you're so quiet at the end there. You do have a mic, you know.
Oh no, I know. I'm enjoying the whole thing because
Join in, too.
I grew up watching them on the living room floor in the 90s. You know what I mean? So that shows my age.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we
how
see
cool
living-
is that? How
Awesome.
Cool,
I love
how
it.
cool is that you're on? It's just you bought MTV, the MTV that was. You kind of kept it going. You pushed it into a new sort of like genre of something that we hadn't seen before either, because everything we were doing as well, it was still the first. It was just happening as it was happening. And I still feel that happens with you. You bring that kind of energy of going, hey, we're just gonna let it all out and just let it go and see what happens. Let it fly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something takes over you, you know. It's just, luckily it's been so many years that we're more comfortable on stage than off probably. So it's just, let's just do that. And it was awesome to be the first band, kind of the first band, right? First night, but kind of wanted to play more shows.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
first night. Yeah, I know too.
It's great to be, like just joining you guys and just partying and watching other bands, but I'm like, man, we're done playing. That sucks. But figure out something else to do.
Yeah, because everybody has a good time. Everybody, pardon?
That's right.
The drummers.
Oh, we're gonna probably hang out with some of those guys for sure.
You gonna be there,
It's
Kevin?
fun, the finale.
I think I am going to be there. I think we have something planned, but I'm not supposed
Get
to.
you a gummy and jam later.
Just what you guys need.
It'd be amazing.
Dude, I remember doing 120 minutes with Matt Pinfield, and he asked me a question. It's usually these guys, they're talking, I'm just off to the side a little bit. All of a sudden, Matt looked at me and asked me some question, and I remember just like deer in a headlight, like, what the fuck? I didn't even know how to answer it. I was so nervous. I was like, 120 minutes, I watched this at home, and now I'm on it? What the hell?
Yeah.
Well, we would set our VCRs, like we would record, Headbangers Ball in 120 minutes because we would be out passing out flyers for our band at that hour, and then we would come home the next day, and when most dudes our age would be watching, sports and stuff, we would all get together and just watch 4 hours of MTV video. That was literally like our whole world, was that.
And just sticking together.
Yeah.
I think that's an important thing through ups and downs, because we all know there's
Yeah.
ups.
We've
And
been through
downs.
everything together. It's been.
I'm feeling them right now, actually.
Well, he's on an up.
We've literally gone through. Taylor joined the band. You've been there for 6-7 years now.
6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never thought, it's almost like a marriage that lasts forever.
Right.
Our original drummer
Yeah.
passed away of brain cancer back. I lose track of time. What year was it?
2009,
2009.
Yeah.
August 13th.
We're pretty certain he would still be in the band, and
Yeah.
been fortunate. Taylor's an amazing drummer. If you guys watch, he's just absolutely incredible.
I'll tell you
A great fit.
a funny story
Great
about
fit.
Taylor. What's that?
He's a great fit for the band.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Well, we kind of knew him from the Nashville scene, and he would, he was sending DMs about like songwriting and stuff, and his videos were just him like with an acoustic guitar singing songs and stuff, and so I just thought he was a singer-songwriter in Nashville, and we were having lunch one day. I used to have a bar restaurant in Orange County, California, and his family and him came. We were all sitting around having brunch, and his mom said something about him playing drums. I was like, oh, I didn't know that you played drums. And he's like, yeah, man, I can play all your songs. I'm like, no shit. And we were looking for a drummer at the time, kind of quietly. So I was like, well, dude, when you get a chance, like just set your iPhone up on like a little stand and just, film yourself playing like a couple of our singles or whatever. Less than 24 hours later, he sent over like a 4-camera video shoot, all like professionally done, and it's like him just going crazy.
But, and I'll add that
proud of it.
But he nailed it on the video. I was sending the video to all the guys going, dude, look at this guy. And so we called him, like, we had 2 shows coming up, and I called him and was like, what are you doing this weekend? And he's like, can you learn a 75-minute set by tomorrow? And he did, and he's been in the band ever since.
It's funny, I actually quit playing drums like 7 years prior. The reason I got back into drumming was for these guys, so it's kind of a fun story.
At rehearsal, that very first rehearsal, we did the entire set, and he goes, "What else do you guys want to play?" And he was serious. He knew more songs. We were like, "You know more songs than we do." Seriously.
I'm a fan just like y'all.
Thanks, Tay.
That's it. I'm completely fanning out, by the way. Can you tell? Because you've been at my interviews before, and I'm normally chatty Cathy, and I'm just staring like this. This is so much fun, and yeah, R.I.P.
It's awesome to be here with you, too. Big
To
fans.
our original drummer, but
Thank you.
you know, there's lots of up times, and during those down times, how important are the fans to you in that healing process? I mean, that must be something, that connection, you know, with your fans always being there for you and helping you get through it.
Fans definitely step up in times like that and make you feel, you know, made us feel good because Al was, you know, our drummer was so loved and respected, and we honestly, we kind of crawled into a hole and didn't come out of it for what, a good couple of years, and then we decided, all right, we got to keep this going, and then we decided to bring in another drummer, but we didn't think we were going to do it. We're like, that's the end of this, because it's a brotherhood, you know, and it was, yeah, pretty insane. But the fans definitely, the craziest thing is how many people, you know, gave us the respect and the time to heal from that and sit a few rounds out and then come back and then, hey, we're still here for you. So that's amazing.
Yeah, well, I think it was a good thing that you did it. You knew you needed it for yourself as well.
Well, yeah,
You
we
need to
couldn't
sit back.
function.
Well, and the other thing too, we've been doing this for a living, I guess, you know, for 27 years now, and so along the way, you know, you get to know people and meet people and become family with people and fans from the road and become friends from the road, and then you realize all these years later, I mean, everyone's going through the same stuff that we're going through. You know, we end up bonding. We first meet and we bond over the record and the music and the show, and then, you know, third or fourth time, like somebody's going through something, or somebody's, you know, you're having a kid, or you're getting married, and you're getting a divorce, and then somebody's passing. I mean, it's real life stuff, and we get to experience, I feel like, life with everybody too along the way, and I think that's kind of awesome. And then the music becomes sort of the healing conduit, I guess, of like, it's a celebration of life, really, you know, because we're all going through it.
All going through it.
And none of us really know what the hell we're doing, but it's pretty awesome. We all get to come together for 4 days, 5 days like this, and just watch a bunch of cool bands and get the drink package. And
But it must be so much fun. It must be so much fun. You looking at your best friend on stage, you looking at your kid brother on stage, and you looking over and seeing your big brother. I mean, those moments on stage must be so freaking surreal, no? Well, they're not to you. It's real to you. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
sometimes I
absolutely.
see him go up the front on the stage and he's doing his thing, like with his legs all and then I see you look up sometimes and just look over and go, yeah,
They're probably a
that's
lot
my
of times
brother,
concerned.
man.
They're like,
That's
hey,
my
man,
brother. That's my bestie.
Right. But like I'm 51 now, so they're probably, dude, are you gonna still try and jump off the side of the building? And like, and I
don't do it, dude. Don't do it.
If I wouldn't have thrown my back out a few days ago, I probably would have.
There's certain points of certain shows, it'll hit me, like you just saying that. I'll walk up to the mic and go, man, I just got to let you all know I fucking love these guys, they're family, and I've been with them for a long time, and we've been through a lot of shit together, and good stuff too, you know. So
Yeah, mostly good stuff.
Mostly good stuff. Well, I got my t-shirt with one of my favorite songs. When you wrote that song, did you know that it was just gonna be just absolutely a major anthem of the 90s?
We thought all of our songs were gonna be like that. We thought every single song
You know, I was
changed the world.
just saying, we didn't know that, but at the same time, to stick it out, you know, as long as we did, yeah, you gotta believe yourself, believe in yourself and the potential. But yeah, no, that was a shocker.
We had a buddy of ours that grew up with us. He was kind of the fifth member, didn't play an instrument, but he was with us forever. He lived with me, and he ended up becoming our tour manager and guitar tech, and now he like runs the House of Blues, and he's successful in his own right. But he wait, my brain just stopped working.
Mine were sending me in.
Oh,
His
That was.
Did you see? Could you
moment.
see my brain freeze? Might have just had a stroke. I don't know.
I used to do that on like TRL.
But when we first wrote My
I
Worst
don't
Enemy,
know why we're all laughing at that.
but when we wrote that song, Tony was like, we were excited about that song, and we were playing it at rehearsal, and Tony was like, I don't know, I don't really like it. So we actually didn't play it for the next couple shows that we had because we were self-conscious of it, and then we were kind of like, we kind of like it. We're gonna see how it goes. And then when we started playing it, there was definitely a reaction to it. But then we recorded it and sent it out to the record companies, and they all said no. So like every single record company heard My Worst Enemy and said no, including the one that we ended up signing with, but because they said no first, and then a couple months later they said wait, yes, and then it all happened. But so it's just a little wild because we write a song, we don't really finish writing a song unless we're excited about it. So if we're gonna play it live, it's already been through that process of like, do we like it? Do we love it? Is it cool? All right, cool. And then,
It's kind of rare. I was talking to Lisa Loeb on the beach when we all went out there, and we were talking about songwriting, and I mentioned that she's like, me too. She literally writes, if 10 songs on the record, she wrote 10 songs. And that was the record. We've always been that way. Some bands, we have friends in bands that write like 30 songs. They pick 10 or 12. But like, yeah, we just abandoned it. If we're not excited, it's like, let's move on.
It's also something that you're going to have to sing for a very long
That's
time.
right.
Right?
Jeremy mentioned
Think of
something the
that.
other day. We were talking to somebody, and you mentioned how My Worst Enemy was written. We demoed it real quick. Things happened quickly, so it didn't actually go through a long process. So there was lyrics that were just kind of set in there as placement lyrics until something else was written, and maybe we'll get around to doing a guitar solo or whatever. There's no bridge. So the song was incomplete, but then it just moved forward, and it is what it is now. I thought that was
Which
pretty
is
interesting.
awesome, still.
Yeah.
Underthought, we just went with the energy and the feeling of the song, and we always laugh about, there's a lot of things that don't rhyme where we would normally be trying to put words into that rhyme more, maybe smarter lyrics, and we just went, no, this is just the way it feels, here it goes.
And it is, it's an awesome song, so when you sing it, you're singing it for a long time. Like, you think about how long that's going to be on your resume or in your everyday life.
Yeah.
Like tattoos, really. Do you think when you get a tattoo how it's going to look 20?
I know it's going to stay there.
You're talking about my hummingbird that turned into an eagle. Yeah. Didn't think that one through.
You get a tattoo 30 years ago and it
Yeah.
looks a little different.
Yeah.
Expanded its wings.
No, I'm not taking my shirt off.
Kevin.
No, Kevin, no.
He had to
Do not.
Open it up.
Do not. I happen to think that you all looked pretty spiffy on the beach yesterday because I was privy to it, which was quite nice, yeah.
Too nice.
It was a lot of fun. We got to hang out on the beach, and it's so nice to have like downtime. And on the ship, have you seen any other artists perform and
Oh yeah.
chill out with?
I was blown away last night by Blues Traveler.
Blues Traveler.
Yeah.
They were incredible. I've never seen them live before. We rode the bus together from the hotel to the ship on the way here, and so we were, shooting the shit for a half hour on the ride. But I'd never seen them play live, and
Sweet as guys, too.
man, I mean, I've never heard a harmonica played like that. It sounds like a different instrument. It's crazy. I mean, it's ridiculous. But everybody in that band is like world class players, and then together it's just like, I don't know. I'm gonna go again tonight.
Yeah.
That good. It
We're
was that
all
good.
gonna
If you
go
haven't seen
tonight,
it, it was
for
that
sure.
good.
I think I've seen every show, just about. Even Jesus Jones here on this stage.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been trying to get to all of them,
Which was amazing. I thought this stage was going to be way too small for it, but it ended up being a
It was
really
great, yeah.
unbelievable
Yeah.
show. Inspirations growing up, who inspired you? Was it like groups like Metallica? and Aerosmith, and of course.
Well, we were raised on our dad being in pop radio, everything from, all the old school Kenny Rogers, all the stuff that was just pop music that was all across the board, not genre specific, just popular songs. So we got good exposure to all that stuff, and then once we were old enough, like 8 and 10, we discovered heavy metal. And so our first concert, our dad took us to Iron Maiden. And that was literally the moment we said we want to do that. So that was the game changer.
But it was the Fabiano version of Iron Maiden, not even
Fabiano,
Bruce
different
Dickinson's
original
old school.
singer. Elvis Costello was a massive influence.
We grew up, top 40 radio back then was literally, it wasn't a genre, it was the top 40 most popular songs in America. So you would hear the Cars, and then you'd hear Linda Ronstadt, and then you'd hear Eddie Rabbitt, and then you'd hear, Van Halen, and it was a very eclectic, batch of music. So I didn't know Waylon Jennings was country music. I just thought that there were some cool songs, so we were very much influenced by a ton of pop music, and then of course when MTV first was on TV, I remember our dad, he wanted to do like a father and son's bonding trip. He took us to the mountains and he rented a cabin, and we were gonna go like fishing and all that. And literally MTV had debuted that week, and we didn't have it at our house. I think we had On TV or something. It was like the box with the one knob, and it was like whatever movie was playing, that's what
On or off.
And so we literally, for 3 days in Big Bear in the mountains, all we wanted to do was sit in the hotel room and watch it, because they had it in the hotel, or at the cabin or whatever. And that was like, we were just so fascinated by it.
Wasn't it like a Judas Priest concert?
There was it was slim pickings back in those days, because nobody made videos yet. It was just like, hey, we're gonna play videos for 24 hours a day starting now, and it's like everyone was like, oh shit, we gotta make some videos.
Everyone was scrambling at MTV too. Like, how are we going to get the videos to fill all of this time?
So there would be like, half hour of some videos, and then they would play like a live concert from a band, to take up like an hour of time in the early days, But
Could you tell them the story you told us about David Lee Roth?
No, because they don't like us to talk. They like
Why not?
us to talk. With David
She's
Lee
had
Roth.
such amazing stories.
No. No, we'll do it next time. I was just telling these guys story, like, talking out of school. Like when I first came to MTV, they were, I hadn't seen MTV in England, so when I got hired, I didn't know what it was either, so I was completely blown away. I'm just walking around New York City, and they're kind of wooing me at MTV. And the big bosses took me out, and it was the time when you had limousines, because that was supposed to be cool. And it had the big MTV sign on it, and we were driving down New York City, and we got to a traffic light, and someone banged on the window from the outside, and they rolled the window down, and David Lee Roth stuck his head in and went, "Can I get a ride?"
So amazing.
I was just like, yeah, this is it. This is happening, and it did happen. MTV was just so much fun. It just felt so free for everyone. It was just so available, and you got, like I said, you got the story, you got the journey. We'd have everybody, anyone could be on it at any time. If you loved music, that's what it would be about. So, thanks for carrying that on, because you certainly lit that torch. I don't want to talk too much because they know way more about you than I do. Not after the beach yesterday, you don't. But is there anyone out there that would love to chip in for this? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up about videos. How songs stand alone by themselves, and how much involvement do you have when it comes to creating the video? Because I remember seeing a documentary about the Go-Go's. They did our Let's Deal. Just managers, like, let's shoot a video, and they didn't understand how it functioned. They're like, oh god, they did it specifically. So we get back, and they're like, oh wow, this is actually really good for us.
Repeat
Did you
the
guys hear
question.
that?
The first couple
Should
of
have handed you the
videos,
mic, sorry.
so the Mile Were Sending Me video, and then the Ziploc video after, we wrote the treatments for that. The treatment is like, the script that a director submits to your label or your band or whatever, and says, hey, I have this idea for this song. And most of the time they're garbage. They're trying to be super artsy and creative, and sometimes it's just way out there, like the Miserable one. That when we got that treatment, it was we thought it was the dumbest idea we'd ever heard. We're like, wait, the giant woman, and we're gonna walk around on her, and then she's gonna eat us at the end? Like, no. We're never gonna do that. And we wanted to do like a big, because we'd been on tour for a year, and had a like platinum record, and we wanted like the Bon Jovi, like Wanted Dead or Alive, with like sweat flying off our heads in slow motion, and tour buses leaving the parking lot and stuff like Motley Crue, Home Sweet Home. We were like, that's what we want to do. And the label was like, no, those aren't popular anymore. So we want this giant woman thing. And but it for us, we also grew up like huge fans of movies, and like the movie Swingers and Pulp Fiction and all these movies, and the soundtracks were so like important, and so we always kind of took making videos as like another outlet for another creative outlet. And like, we love watching those early ones because all the people you see in the video are like our buddies and friends and chicks from our neighborhood, And I remember one time in the Ziploc video, there was one of the models, that there was a lot of girls in bikinis in that video, because we could, And I remember there was a guy, and he was kind of a knucklehead, he was another actor, and he was in the pool, and there was going to be a scene where he makes out with this hot girl, and we were like, no. And we had a buddy, Steve. We're like, Steve, get in the pool. So the guy that's making out with the hot girl in the video is actually our good buddy from home. He had this little moment, but
Gotta hook the friends up,
But no, it was so long answer to your short question is the process of making videos for us was always very. We dove into it like we were making a little mini movie, and we wanted it to be something else other than the record and the show. Like, we would make fun of ourselves and dress up in characters and alter egos and things. And looking back now, it's like, it's unbelievable that we got away with some of that stuff.
I gotta point out real quick. Has anybody seen Lipstick and Bruises with the robot? Anybody? I was at a motocross with these guys. We were drinking at a motocross, and I remember taking off with a couple friends, and I was kind of laughing drunkily and saying, what if there was a robot with a mullet? And then the name Mulletron came up. Next thing you know, RCA is ponying up a lot of money for us to make a video with a robot in it named Mulletron. True story.
The robot
badass
goes
video,
around.
yeah, but it was
The
a
robot
little
cuts
ridiculous.
mullets on
It was the
everybody.
epitome of giving the artist too much creative control.
You guys have to go home and watch
Hey,
it.
let's get these guys drunk, give them 400 grand, see what happens.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, the robot shoots lasers out of his eyes, and if he hits you, then you grow a mullet.
Yeah. It's so stupid, it's rad.
And Chad Smith from Chili Peppers actually gets confronted by the robot in that video. So it's kind of
I wish we had
interesting.
known that story before. I'm sure everyone in here would have had a mullet for this one. Do we have another question? I'm coming to you. See what I do for you boys?
So your guys' music has been featured on a lot of film soundtracks. What is the one film that you are glad to be a part of?
I wasn't prepared for that one. I'll let you guys handle this one.
What, like a
Always
real
good to be a
question
part of.
from someone? From me?
Actually one that we were a little bit embarrassed by originally, and now we're super proud of, and most people don't know this, but y'all know that movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg? So there's a song that's in the movie 3 different times and called Wasted Generation, and it's like Zakk Wylde on guitar, and like it's the all-star band from the movie, But we wrote that song about 3 or 4 years before like My Worst Enemy came out and all that, and with this famous songwriter Desmond Child, and we wrote it together. And it's in the movie 3 times, and that thing's always getting played like on the weekends, VH1 or whatever. And Now it's kind of like, dude, that's crazy. We wrote that. I remember we wrote it in Desmond's backyard, like we were just kids. But so that one, not really a lit song, but and there's a lot of them too, because we were on tour so much that we didn't go to the movies, and so we would hear like, oh, your song's gonna be in this movie, or it's gonna be in that movie, or whatever, and we'd kind of sort of forget about it, and then like a few years later, you're home for a couple days, or you're in a hotel room, there's a movie on, you hear your song, you're like, oh shit, we're on that one.
I mean, the American Pie movies have, we've been featured in that a few times, and I think to me that's, growing up, we saw movies like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and a lot of those teenage movies where you're gonna see someone get naked, and it was kind of cool, get drunk and act crazy. But for us, American Pie was sort of that, one of those series of movies of that next generation. So it sort of exposed us to the same people that when you think of some of the movie soundtrack songs like in Fast Times, you remember the scene in the movie, and it's like, oh yeah, you're picturing Phoebe Cates walking down the pool or whatever. And so it's so cool to be a part of a movie that sort of has that for some of these college kids.
Questions? That's it? No more questions? Fibbing?
So some of you from the 80s crews might recognize this question, but where were you? Can you No, it's a good one.
Did you steal a question?
The first time you heard one of your songs, the very first time you heard one of your songs in the wild, can you describe that feeling and what that meant to you? On the radio or where
Yeah,
it
let
was?
Kevin will.
So our album, A Place in the Sun, was supposed to come out in April, and then they moved it to March, and then it came out February 23rd of '99. And I think it was December or January that My Worst Enemy started getting played around the U.S., and we were hearing about it. And then we started getting calls. We didn't have cell phones, so it was all about the voicemail at home on the tape, Beep, hey, wait, I just heard your song on K-Rock, which was the local station in California. And so anytime you were in the car or anywhere, you'd have the radio station on. You're like, fuck, I'm hearing that they're playing it, but I haven't heard it yet. Well, AJ and I were out one day, and we went back to his house, and we're listening to his answering machine, and people are blowing it up like, dude, your song's on the fucking radio. And so we turned it on, and it came on, and literally AJ and I tackled each other. I don't know why, but like it was so insane that we were finally hearing it.
We always compare it to the movie That Thing You Do. That moment when they hear it and they're just like running around town. Like, that was exactly how it felt.
What was the first break for you guys?
What's that?
What was the first break? Who did you go out on the road with the first time that you thought that this is just freaking awesome?
The first, we went out with a couple bands for like a couple weeks, and then like 3 weeks, but our first like full official tour where was with The Offspring.
Woo!
And they took us out, and they were fellow Orange County guys, and they just took us under their wing, and that we did the whole U.S. and Europe with them, and that was first tour bus, first playing in arenas and amphitheaters and all that, and we were kids in a candy store. It was like, and then we did Campus Invasion, MTV, and then we did
That was with Garbage.
we did a bunch of great.
That was with Garbage.
It was Garbage.
Yeah.
Shirley's amazing. They're all such incredible people.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I remember we kept getting asked early on, who do you want to go tour with? And we would always say, No Doubt would be fun. And we were tapering our album off. We were getting ready to go back and start writing new material and everything. And our manager called us and goes, I know you guys want a break and everything, but guess who just called? We're all who? And they're all, No Doubt want you to do another 2 months on the road. And we're like, all right.
Well,
we were hurt.
We left home in January of '99 in a motorhome, and we didn't come back until the end of September 2000. So we were gone for 18 months. When I say straight, I mean we would come home maybe for a half a day, just enough to
Do the washing.
do a load of laundry, and pack less crap, and then just get right back out there, And so when the No Doubt tour, and it was actually more like 3 months. It was everywhere, U.S. and Canada, and it was the end of that cycle, and we were like, well, let's go out big, and we did. And the very last night of that tour was our hometown amphitheater that we grew up going to concerts at, and so it was like all our friends and family in the audience, and and I remember AJ was like, we're up there, he was like pointing at it. He was like, we were sitting in those seats right up there for this concert, and we were over there for this concert. We used to sneak down from the lawn section up there, and we did.
But it didn't end there for the album.
Please tell us more.
Yeah. So Jeremy wanted to go see Bon Jovi. He was playing in town at the Forum, and so he had management, called their management, and I'll just let him tell the story. But this was amazing. Go ahead.
Well, we get him.
It's his story, and I'm telling
Thanks,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Thanks for teeing that up.
I don't want to leave anything out, Jeremy.
We were so stoked, but we also were like, don't talk to us about, we're not gonna see each other or get together or play music or write songs for at least 3 months. We're gonna hang out at Home Depot and just do normal shit. And so like the 3 months was sort of winding down, and we were supposed to start writing songs again for the next record. But my ex-wife, my wife at the time, was a big Bon Jovi fan, and she was like and I had read that they were fans of our band, and we had some inside kind of connection. So anyway, I reached out and was like, could we get some tickets to the Bon Jovi at the Forum? And it was like, because they were like, well, how many tickets do you need? I'm like, I don't know, 2, I guess 4. Well, maybe we'll find another couple that wants to go with us. And then we got a call later that day and it said, the Bon Jovi guys said they would love to have you at the show. I was like, oh, okay, great. 4 tickets? And they said, no, 50 tickets and $10,000 because they want you to open up for them. And it's already sold out. And we were like, holy shit. So we had to get back into the warehouse where we had like this studio warehouse man cave thing, and we had to literally like go in and start finding where our shit was and unpacking the amps and the drums. But we set up in the circle and we started rehearsing again. And then while we were rehearsing for that show, we started writing the songs, which ended up becoming the Atomic record. So Bon Jovi helped us make our follow-up record to Place the Sun.
I remember you called me and you said, dude, this might be our last opportunity to play the Forum because they're selling it. It's going to become a church, is what you told me. I was like, well, we better get on this. We better do the show. And it's still a venue, having rock shows.
I'm sure the Bon Jovi are looking at you going, look at my babies now, right? Right? I mean, how awesome.
Become good friends with David Bryan, yeah, so it's weird how things change over the years. Yeah. That's right.
No.
Any more questions, anybody out there? Please.
Haven't seen.
Is there a band that you
The original Van Halen.
Elvis Presley?
haven't seen but you'd love to? Is that what you said?
Wow.
You've seen most everybody?
I really wish I would have seen Tom Petty. I didn't get a chance to.
I saw him on his last tour he did. I got to see that. I was stoked to see that. We've gotten to this point in our lives, and me especially, but I buy the tickets, I buy the merch, I go, like, especially now, like like the Eagles are my favorite band of all time, and I've seen them like, I don't know, 7 times on this last go around, and I want to go again in April to see them in Vegas. But I will, if there's a band like, I was talking to somebody last night about this, but like ELO just did their like final lap, and we went and saw them in Nashville, and it was like, I will literally, if there's somebody playing iconic that just, I won't miss it anymore, because you're losing your opportunities to do that, so keep supporting my music, and don't wait for the next tour, because you never know,
All these people. That's what I do.
Taylor?
No, yeah, sorry.
I would have wanted to see The Who with Keith Moon.
Yeah. A little late.
That would have been badass.
Little.
So I love James Brown now, but when he was alive and rolling, I liked him, but I didn't think to go see him. We played fucking Woodstock. He was the opening band at 12 o'clock, and we were on tour with Offspring, and that was a one-off. And I remember going to catering, hungover. I'm sitting there, and they had TVs inside the catering, and it was like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, James Brown, and he hits the stage, and I remember watching him on the monitors, and I'm just eating my food. All I had to do was go outside the tent, go over, walk up the stairs. I could have been on stage with fucking James Brown, but I just sat there and ate my food. Who knows what else I did? I just dicked off. But dude, to this day, that's a regret. I'm like, fuck, I could have went and
Well,
watched
now
it.
you're on stage with Downtown Julie.
That's right.
Jump back and kiss myself. Hey, that one.
Iron Maiden, first concert.
What was your very first concert was the question.
There's two, kind of. My dad sang for the church choir, and then when, what's his name? Who's the guy that would go and do stadiums?
That one guy?
Billy Graham. Billy Graham came to our area, played Anaheim Stadium, and they got all the local churches together, the choirs, and built a huge choir. And so we got invited to that, and Johnny Cash came out and performed at that. So that was kind of a first show, but it wasn't really a show. My first real show was Stryper, Soldiers Under Command. What's up? Yeah. There's a lot of Christianity in my house early on there.
Ours was Iron Maiden together.
Okay.
Yeah.
My first iconic one was Metallica, like the big one, yeah.
I thought you were going to say Britney.
Never saw her.
Downtown.
Hey, listen, I don't care what anyone says. I would go see her.
What was your first concert?
I would go and see her. What was my first
100%.
concert?
Yes.
Well, those stories. I was lucky enough to get concerts all the time, right? Because, being on MTV, we were just, I had the luckiest career ever to be able to see Major One. Bon Jovi was always one of my favorites to see. But my thing now is I like to see the bands in Europe. All the bands that I've seen in America, if they're going to Europe, I like to try and catch them there to see how different things are. But, Michael Jackson, Prince, the story of Prince.
Yep.
And
That's our last story.
no,
Okay.
not. It's going to be in the tattoo story and the Prince story. They're our thing.
Hey, if we do this again, a cruise like this, and you're on it, I want to interview you. Because I got lots of questions. I want to know.
Yeah, we've got time. We got the ship doesn't. We don't get off until tomorrow, so we'll go hang out and see what we can pull up. You got somewhere to go? Have you got somewhere to go?
No, we could do this
let's
for
just
hours.
hang out
Yeah,
then.
I think we're out in the middle of the ocean, so no.
No, but one thing I was really interested in, getting away from the music, I mean, being dads now, being in the real world, I heard that you seem so relaxed and so cool, but you're quite strict parents, right? Like, Ish.
Well, they're grown-ups now, so you can try and be strict, but yeah, the come-up was we're very conservative parents, it's so funny showing up to like school events and having the sort of discipline that we had and we're covered in tattoos. We're just like, nope. But we meet, our kids we're very proud of them. His already graduated college, mine graduates college here in a couple months. They're way smarter than we are, kicking ass.
So cool. That always brings tears to my eyes because my daughter didn't graduate college.
I think we didn't, our household it was like strict in different ways than other kids had it. So I think because we were exposed to so much on the road and we were kind of part of, I guess, pop culture in a way, so we were protective of certain things. But then they also had they grew up on tour buses and backstage at shows, and they were probably exposed to some things where parents would cover their eyes. But at the same time, but when it came to just being a good person and being respectful and being appreciative of what we had and all that, and we were pretty hardcore about that. And I had my son's he had an iPhone pretty early on, and I would lock it in my safe. He messed up, I'd be like, let me see that, and then I'd buy him a little flip phone from the grocery store and be like, have fun with that. Yeah, I think people just thought our kids probably would just be little gypsies, just doing whatever the hell they wanted, and drugs and crazy shit. But we're, our kids' friends would be like, God, your parents are strict. Yeah.
Well, we thank you
But
for
we made
not
it.
locking any of your greatness away. And whenever you're like doing a show, you give more than 100%. And it's always fun to see you play live. And thank you so much for
Thank
getting
you.
this boat rolling.
Thank
and
you so much. Thank
being
you all
part
so
of the
much.
best decade.
Thanks for coming, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much for doing this. We also know we really appreciate. We know that these are expensive, and that y'all
Yes.
that this is like a vacation and a destination, and you spend your hard-earned money on this. And we really hope that y'all know that that means a lot to us. So just thank y'all for doing that.